This tutorial is going to cover creating the pieces for our BattleBot model for our second project in Maya. I've set up my templates a little differently than we did with our tutorial file, so I'm enclosing a zip folder with the new arrangement. I think it'll make life a little easier for all of us. You can see I've gone in and named panels, and then I've separated them out through the center so that it's a little easier to create the model we want. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my orthographic top view, and I'm going to go to Create, Polygon Primitives. I'm going to create a cube. Once I've put the footprint in the top view, I will go to my perspective view. In my perspective view, I'll give it a little bit of height to get started. I'm going to go to my orthographic views now and put it into position and scale it further. So I'll right-click, choose Vertex, and I'll click the vertices on the right-hand side, and I'll pull them in to mimic the template. So I'll go to the side view, and I'll check out the scale there as well, like so. And now I'll return to my object mode and hit Command-S to save. Now let's go to the perspective view and see what we have. So there is the body. That's the shape we need. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a tail on this. So let's go to our side view once again. So I'm in my side view, and I'm going to use my CV curve tool to revolve these three cylindrical shapes as one. I'm going to hold down the space bar. I'll go to Create, Curve Tools, CV Curve Tool. I'm going to make sure it's set for 1. And now I'm going to draw the shape as closely as I can to the model. Now, bear in mind we can adjust this afterwards if we want. And once I've generated the line I need, I'm going to hit Return to make it into an object. Now I'm going to go in and tweak this a bit before we revolve it with our surfaces. So I'm going to go in and make this a little bit more consistent. I'm not worried about the bend that the model reflects here. We'll deal with that later. That's a pretty good place to start off. I'll right-click, return to my object mode again, select my path, and I'm going to revolve this path on the z-axis. That's the blue axis here. So with the path selected in the object mode, I'll hold down the space bar and go to Surfaces. I'll go to my Revolve attributes, and I'm going to set it for Z. And down below, I'm going to choose Polygons, and then I'm going to choose Control Points and hit Apply. And if I was to hit 5 on the keyboard, here's the shape I have. Now, most often in Maya, you'll see geometry that might be black and gray. This simply means that I've got to go and set my two-sided lighting. So I'm going to go to Lighting and choose two-sided lighting. Now I'm going to center the pivot. It's at the center of our viewport. I'll center that. If I needed to tweak this further, I could move this out from the path. I could right-click on the path and go to Control Vertices and make my adjustments there to the shape I might want. Once I have what I want, I will right-click and choose Object Mode, and I'm going to go to Delete by Type History. Now I'm going to move the pivot of my new geometry against the right-hand edge of the geometry, so I'm going to hold down D, and I'm going to drag on the z-axis so that it is at the right-hand side of our newly made geometry. I'll roughly put this into position in the side view, and then I'll go to the front view as well and see if it's where I want it. Yep, that looks pretty good. I'm going to hit Command-S to save again. Now we're going to create the little tail pieces at the end of the cylinder we just created. I'm going to go once again to my side view. And I'm going to hold down the space bar. I'll go to Create, Polygon Primitives, and Cube. And I'm going to click and drag a general shape that I need. And I'll go to my perspective window to give that a bit of thickness. I'm going to go back to the side view because I want to now put that little slant that the wing has. Now I'm going to put the ghost on so I can see through this a little bit better. And then I'll right click, choose vertex, select all the vertexes in the upper right hand corner of that polygon and drag it down to where I'd like it to be. I'm going to go to my object mode, and I'm going to put the pivot down at the bottom of this geometry. I'm going to hold down D, and I can grab on the axes to do this if I want. I need another one below that's just a smaller version of this one. So I'll hit Command D on the keyboard to duplicate. I'll go over to my channels window, and I'm going to rotate this on the Z-axis 180 degrees. Now I'm going to scale it down to fit the template a little bit better. And I'll pull it down a little bit further into the geometry. I'm going to go to the perspective view to make sure that these little pieces are embedded in the tail cylinder. And I'll pull that in like that. And I'm going to hit Command S to save. Now we're going to create the wing for this little critter. And I'm going to start by going to the top view and my top orthographic view. Once again, I'm going to create a polygon cube. I'll hold down the space bar, go to Create, Polygon Primitives, and Cube, and I'll drag the general shape that I'd like to use. And then I'm going to go to my perspective view, and I'll give it the thickness I want. And it's like so. I want that to be kind of in the middle of the body the way it is. Now I'm going to return to the top view. And if you haven't done so as of yet, I'm going to hold down Command Shift, and we're going to go to Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop. And that's going to allow us to add more geometry to this to get the horizontal lines that we see in the top template. So I'll go in and I'll introduce what I think I need here. So 1 there, 2, and 3. Now it's a matter of going to my vertexes. So I'm going to go along here and shape this rectangle the way that I would like. Now that I've adjusted the wing the way I'd like it to be, I'm going to create the sphere and cylinder that will attach this little arm to the body of our satellite. I'll go back to my object mode, and I'm going to stay in my top view for the moment. I'll go to Create, Polygon Primitives, and I'll use a basic sphere. I'm going to put that over the template. I'm going to go to my perspective view. Now the next thing I want to do is introduce a cylinder for that little arm piece. Now I'm going to be doing that in the side view as well because I want to be able to draw the footprint of the cylinder in the position I'd like it to be. So I'll go to my side view and I'll hold down the space bar, go to Create, Polygon Primitives, Cylinder. I'll kind of draw the footprint over here. And I'll go to my perspective view. And I'll give it the length. I've hit 4 on the keyboard because it's probably coming from the center point of the viewport. And it'll allow me to go to wireframe and then pull that shape out. So I think what I'll probably do now is go back to my top view and start to put that into the position that it'll eventually have. Now it's a matter of refining that for the length and the circumference. I'm just going to scale it down a little bit. And maybe give it a little bit more length. And I'm going to hit Command S to save.